Hello, I am Lady Yorkaira, Duchess of Silver Dragons and your local villainess. And today we're going to be exploring some of the locations that we get to see in Otome Sinner's Choice. We currently have 5 locations revealed to us so far, and there's a small snippet of information for each, and of course I'm going to be overanalyzing it all because that's just what I do. Before I start, I should probably mention that this will contain spoilers for the first 2 games since I'm attempting to piece things together. Okay, well, let's get into it. So our first location is Purgatory, the forbidden land in the gap between the Celestial Realm and the Devildom. Once a land brimming with holy light, the countless scars of angelic battles mar the ground, and the sky remains bathed in an angry red hue. For Lucifer and his brothers, it is at once the gateway to hell and the final path back to their homeland. So, initially when I first saw this image in the trailer, I thought it may have been the Colosseum where Lucifer and his brothers were found by Lord Diavolo right after the Celestial War, and I'll admit that even after reading this snippet of information, I thought it still could have been, because in Otome, Diavolo says that the Colosseum was destroyed in a battle between the Celestial Realm and the Devildom, and then it was rebuilt. And here it says that Purgatory is a place between the 2 territories where a lot of battles have occurred. I also thought it might have been the Colosseum because in the opening movie for Nightbringer, we also see the brothers standing in a Colosseum where the sky is red and the infrastructure is damaged, just like it is here. And how this says this is a gateway for the brothers between hell and their homeland. So I assumed that this is kind of where they landed right after the war. So that's why I thought that this is the original Colosseum, but I'm not entirely sure that this is the case. Purely because it says here that it was bathed in holy light, meaning it was Celestial Realm territory, and the Colosseum is right next to where Rad was built in the Devildom. And we can see from the architecture here as well that it's very reminiscent of the Celestial Palace with, you know, the columns and the big windows, the high ceilings and arches, these balustrades right here, and even like the relief pattern on the columns as well. It does feel very Celestial Realm to me. So perhaps it was originally Celestial territory, but so many battles took place here because it borders on the Devildom as well, that they've just lost or abandoned this land because of its history. I think that the Devildom and the Celestial Realm have probably had multiple battles over time, and they would have spanned over a few different locations, not just this one here, with the Colosseum being just one of them. But I think this area right here is where the majority of the battles will have taken place. And it might also be where the brothers fought their rebellion as well. So I don't know, maybe Purgatory is just closer to the Colosseum than we think. I wish there was some sort of map, that would be very interesting. But this area is definitely living up to its name. The space between light and dark, the gateway between the 2. It's this dead zone between the 2 territories where blood has been spilled, lives have been lost, land has been damaged. Now, my question is Purgatory Hall close to Purgatory itself? We know from Nightbringer that Purgatory Hall was originally called Casitas Hall, and it was directly linked to Casitas itself, which is where the sinners are imprisoned. Casitas Hall ends up being destroyed because Lucifer and Diavolo punch each other a little bit. Like they're both so powerful that the battle starts to cause Casitas to collapse, and so the hall was damaged. And it was rebuilt and renamed Purgatory Hall by Diavolo. So, is it directly on Purgatory soil, or is it just extremely close to it, or did Diavolo just like the word Purgatory? I wouldn't put it past him. He seems like the kind of guy that would just name something that because he feels like he wants to. So, moving on, we have the Magistrate's Quarters. A private room prepared for you in the Magistrate's Tower. A rare place of relaxation in the freezing, shut-off Magistrate's Tower. That was really weird to say, because it was like ending the sentence with the same thing twice. Anyway, eventually it also became a place for you and Lucifer to reveal your true selves to each other, as the distance between you shrinks. So again, from this architecture, I'm under the impression that this is Celestial Realm territory, just like the Underworld, which, by the way, I've been confused about why they've been saying Hell instead of the Devildom, and I realize now, going back to Nightbringer, is that it's because Hell is its own space. Hell is the other word for the Underworld, and the Underworld is the land where the Celestial Realm has jurisdiction. So there's 9 layers to it. There's a city at the top, which is called the City of This. And then there's Casitas, where all of the sinners are imprisoned at the bottom. So now I'm no longer confused by that. That was me forgetting the plot of Nightbringer because it wasn't exactly memorable in the first place. So I'm under the impression that the Magistrate's Tower is somewhere in the Underworld, and I would assume it's on the higher layers, but we'll look at the other locations and see if we can get a bit more information first. So I have to say I'm not a fan of the layout of this room. Like, look at where the bed is relative to the stairs. You're gonna smack your head on the underside of them if you, like, try to walk past here. Or alternatively, you just can't get to the other side because it's, like, blocked by these stairs. So then you would either have to go all the way around, which is really long, or you would just have to climb on the bed and, like, roll over. But personally, I would just roll over it because I'm very lazy. Not much else to say about this location itself, besides that it says it's freezing, and I did mention in my trailer reaction that parts of Casitas or the Underworld do have a lot of ice. Now what's interesting is the second paragraph, a place for you and Lucifer to reveal your true selves to one another. What do you think this means? I am under the impression that we are the same MC as the other games, but we've been transported back in time or in an alternate timeline to judge Lucifer and his brothers. We're definitely still a human. I think it's mentioned on the Steam page. And it's also mentioned in Nightbringer that to imprison someone in Casitas, you need to have a representative from each of the realms to agree. Thus, it's a conflict of interest if the Celestial Realm were to judge the brothers, because there's nothing stopping them from being biased and judging them unfairly. So we're definitely a human, and I want to believe that we're the same human that we've always been. So, does this paragraph mean that Lucifer recognizes us or retains some memories from the other timeline and is just keeping it a secret for as long as he can? Or is this just a case of getting close to him again, like we have every time we've ended up in a new timeline or reality? It's really, really vague, so I'm intrigued by this wording. It could mean a few things, honestly. Let me know what you think it means. I'm curious to hear how other people will interpret this. Also, if it were up to me, Lucifer and I would not be talking. That room is being used for something else. Okay, next is the Hell Piercer, a large elevator designed to strike straight to the depths of hell. The Hell Piercer is the only thing connecting the individual layers of hell to Casitas and the Magistrate's Tower at its terminus. As the elevator descends, its cage-like walls groan from the strain, and its passengers begin to realize their inescapable fate. Not too much to say about this. Like I mentioned, Hell or the Underworld has 9 layers. It's like a big pit, kind of shaped like a bowl. So it sounds to me like the Magistrate's Tower is actually in Casitas at the bottom, which explains why it's so cold there as well. Casitas is full of ice and it just gets colder the further you go down. And Casitas also has 4 layers to it as well, by the way. With the phrase, the cage-like walls groan from the strain, if I'm being pretentious, which is something I love being, this is kind of a metaphor for how the weight of sin is so great that it's almost personified and can be felt by the elevator, even though it's not actually a physical thing that carries weight. But to be honest, I'm just concerned about the condition of this elevator. It probably gets serviced like once every 500 years. It probably just needs some grease or something. And here we have the staircase. The stone staircase that spirals through the outer corridor of the Magistrate's Tower. In this place of solitude and chill winds, the brothers continue doing their best to live their lives. But as they await the fated trial, it becomes a place where the brothers' feelings and hesitations intersect. First of all, mean the brothers are living their lives here, like on the stairs? Do they sleep on the stairs? Surely not. That's such a weird phrase that they've put there. Like, is this just where they hang out? They must get so bored. I mean, it's pretty at least. Like, this is a very beautiful sky. So this is linked directly to where we will be staying. I imagine that there are actually some rooms further down where the brothers stay. It sounds like they spend a lot of time here though. I feel like we're going to get some emotional scenes here. Not just from the sentence here that says their feelings and hesitations intersect, but also it just looks like a good location for it. It has a really solemn air to it. I really hope that we do get some really emotional scenes here between the brothers, especially with all of the wonderful voice acting we're getting. I imagine there's going to be some talk about Lilith here. Maybe the brothers will express their feelings on the war as well and their worries for the future, because they all know that they will be on trial themselves eventually. Lucifer's just the first one. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the trial not only affects Lucifer, but affects his brothers as well. And finally, we have Lucifer's cell. Lucifer's cell in the Magistrate's Tower. Despite the iron bars on the door, it's hard to believe that this is a cell. One can see just how special of an existence these angels are considered. While the cell is a place to lock up sinners, it is also the one place Lucifer has to allow his heart a moment's respite. Well, it's certainly more lavish than where I keep my prisoners. Not that I keep prisoners. They're more like beloved guests of mine. Guests that don't deserve fancy rooms. Anyway, it really does speak volumes that Lucifer was always the favourite angel out of everyone. When his prison cell has a double bed, 3 armchairs I can see behind here, a fireplace, a built-in bookshelf, and a chandelier. I assume that the other brothers also have fairly nice rooms. It does say that the existence of the angels is special, plural. So, is he allowed guests in here? Because if not, he doesn't need this many chairs around the dining table or like the 2 extra armchairs. Personally, I wouldn't have any problem staying here. I'd feel right at home. The only indication that this is a prison cell really is the windows have bars in them so he can't escape. But this is definitely a gilded cage if I've ever seen one. Perhaps I should consider refurbishing my tower now because the way my special guests are kept seems a little bit inhumane now compared to this. But at the same time, that's their problem. I mean, they have a bed, they get their meals, and sometimes they get to come out and have tea with me, provided they wear the chains. I mean, what more could they possibly need? Again, with this one, there isn't really that much to say besides, like, the design. I can't really connect this to any kind of lore or analyze it that much. It's just a room that is far too nice to be a prison cell, in my opinion. Alright, well that does it for the locations revealed to us in Otome Sinner's Choice. Do let me know what you think about the rooms. Do you like the designs? Is there anything that you've spotted that I might have missed? Because I do miss details quite often as well. Let me know what you think about them. I would love to hear what you have to say because I have spoken for long enough now. If you would like to support your Duchess, then please also consider leaving a like or subscribing for more Otome, dating sim, and visual novel content. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, darling human, and I will hopefully see you again soon.